Okay. And I'm black. Let's continue.
But myself as well. Now, to give you some context before we get into the article here, Kirsche was banned for one day on Twitch after reading the fan fiction made by Anna Vellens, a Vice journalist who made multiple hit pieces on Kirsche. Kirsche has now been unbanned after that, and the articles, of course, have been removed by Vice. And Anna Vellens has been nuked off of Twitter. They are now hiding on Blue Sky, and other people are now picking up the pieces and
Good. Good. Drive your enemies before you and enjoy the lamentations of their women.
continuing the good fight for Anna Vellens, including this person right here, this Laura individual, an independent Latinx reporter who made this Pulitzer Prize winning article right here titled Texas Terror Part 3 Patriot Front. Now, you might be asking yourself, Rev, what does this have to do with VTubers? Well, let me tell you. Right here, they compare these groups to Kirsche. Yes, they are comparing Kirsche to a neo-Nazi terrorist group. Why, you may ask? Because she threatened legal action against Vice for their hit pieces. Yes, apparently using courts is a dog whistle for being a part of a neo-Nazi group. This is how desperate they're getting. This is literally like the argument where people are like, oh, did you just drink a glass of water? Guess who else drinks water? Adolf Hitler. Like, that's how desperate they're getting with these attempted gotchas. And let's continue on to my cameo right here. So in this section, they say, this is most common on the outer layers of the radicalization onion. Radicalization onion. That is a terminally online phrase. And they say streamers like Kirsche, Leaflet, Mama Oko, Hero Hey, Rev Says Desu, and others can avoid legal liability by saying any of the harassment or slander done on their behalf aren't what they actually wanted, even though that claim is facetious. Streamers who sit in a deeper layer may have edgier, more openly hateful content while still hiding behind the defense of calling it jokes. Wow, it's so great to have some random journalist tell you how you think. Like, apparently this person understands how my brain works. They understand my thoughts more than me, apparently. So they know the intentions of myself whenever I say or do anything online. This person knows I do not. So I'm glad they're sharing how I think to me. It's great. Thank you so much for that. But they continue on to compare Kirsche to another violent group called Atomwaffen. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. It's another neo-Nazi group. And they go down here and clarify she's not a member of the group and would likely disavow them publicly. So what are we talking about? Why are you even bringing them up in the first place? This is absolutely insane, the levels these people go. They basically have to create a caricature of what you are. And in this case, they have to go so far to compare you to actual neo-Nazi terrorist groups because they can't handle someone who has a different opinion than them. And there are other people who are still fuming about Kirsche, including this YouTuber named Safara de Noma. This is a person who I believe used to make drama videos on VTubers and stuff like that. I don't think they make that stuff anymore. But they had a lot to say about Kirsche over the past couple of days, including saying this, Anna still has her job, so no, the Foxu doesn't win. Yeah, I don't know, number one, if I would want to defend Anna Vellens in any sort of capacity. And also, I don't know if I'd want to, like, encourage any more work from an individual who made an article where they put an adult toy inside themselves and rigged it so whenever they came into contact with players in Fall Guys, it would go off, and basically forcing non-consenting people to be a part of their fetish.
Wait, hold on a sec. So they had in a butt plug? And they had it connected to their gameplay? So when they interacted with other players, they were getting them off? Disgusting hedonist leftists gonna be disgusting hedonist leftists. Freaking A, these people. Oh.
And of course, that's a game that's heavily populated by children too. So I don't know if I'd want to defend this person still being able to make articles. Kind of a.
They're allowed to do whatever they want still because they're of the right political side. That's it. And these organizations are controlled by one political side.
Weird fight to pick here. But of course, we got to talk about the real crux of why they're angry. So, like I said, Kirsche read some of Anna Vellen's fan fiction on stream, and she would get banned for 24 hours for sexual content, reading literally the words of Anna Vellen's. And of course, this person was not happy. They said, Kirsche, honey, please stop harassing Anna Vellen's. You earned this ban. You straight up read not safe for work fanfic on your live stream. This is against Twitch TOS, undeniably. You dumb F. Well, I'll say one thing before we get into it. Life lesson. Anyone who unironically calls a stranger honey in a condescending way typically are the most insufferable people you'll ever meet. But this person's not really understanding why people are surprised or calling out her ban. They understand what she was reading broke TOS. But they're saying Twitch is selective. They have bias when it comes to enforcing the rules, given some of the outrageous stuff that is permitted on their platform. It's clear that Kirsche is being targeted because likely she has more conservative views and they want to take the rules out on her when they can. They don't do this for other people that they have as like their golden children on Twitch. That's very obvious. And I think this shows the bias. That's why people are calling this out. But it was a one-day ban. She's back. And unfortunately, this tweet apparently didn't get enough attention. So they quoted their own tweet, adding this on, saying Kirsche is endangering potential minors lurking in her community by reading smut on stream and still up in her YouTube VOD. Kirsche is lucky all she got was a one-day ban. This is literally disgusting. Yeah, we're not doing this.
Says someone who 100% of their side is nothing but kitty diddlers and is going after everybody else's kids every chance they get. Yeah, sure.
You really want to make this standard for other people. Basically saying,
by the way, Team YouTube, F you.
You are putting people in danger if you have any sort of adult themes on your stream. That is what they're running with here. Imagine extending that logic to everything. I haven't heard one word from this individual about lewd tubers who are on Twitch without age restrictions on their content, doing very sexual content. But Kirsche, with an 18+ warning on her stream and across all of her accounts, is somehow getting singled out in this situation. And unfortunately for this person, you can start looking at their own content. If you truly believe that you shouldn't show anything on stream that would be inappropriate for a child watching, well, guess what? We're going to apply that to your content as well. So here's one of their recent streams, Gooning Tuesday. Yes, they're bringing out the jiggle physics, which of course they're playing Nikke. And here's a clip from it. This is what they're playing and doing on their own stream while saying that Kirsche is endangering children because they read a fan fiction.
Oh my god! Okay, I was not expecting that. Oh my god! Oh my! Oh my god! These are so dumb over here, bro.
Yeah, would you play this in front of children? I don't think so. So if you're gonna hold Kirsche to this standard, well, guess what? It's gonna be held to you as well. And I also find it very ironic they're playing Nikke while claiming to be also anti-lolly, despite the fact that there's lolly fan service in Nikke. Just another example of their hypocrisy. But also you can find this on their pinned tweet. This is their pinned tweet talking about the type of content that they share with their audience.
The only one I'm hurting is myself and you guys who choose to listen to me talk about how thirsty I am over a fictional character that does not exist and how much I want them to rail me. But that's besides the point.
So again, criticizing Kirsche for reading a fan fiction on her stream because it's endangering children who might be in the audience, but you can talk about fictional characters railing you on your stream.
That's exactly what they're saying. Rules for thee, but not for me.
And your audience understands that dynamic according to them. So what are we talking about here? The hypocrisy is through the roof. Now, of course, they would also defend Anna Valens. Yes, they thought this is appropriate for Twitch. What's being played up here, I will not unmute. It is literally fart fetish porn, okay, that they're streaming. Anna Valens. And they defend this and say that this is not explicit in comparison to reading a fan fiction that Anna also wrote. It's insane. Well, of course, Twitch felt a little differently. Anna has been banned on Twitch. But of course, people were pointing out in the replies, and she would hide many people's comments saying this, where they point out that Kirsche has the highest restriction available and bans minors on site. And they say, guess what, buddy? Minors don't have to be in chat. They can be lurking. This is why the no explicit not safe for work rule exists on Twitch, because unfortunately Twitch and YouTube is not an 18 plus platform. So kids are there. Again, we've proven with your Twitch streams that you don't follow your own rules here. And now you've mentioned YouTube. So let's check out your YouTube as well. Oh, look at that. A 5-minute video talking about your favorite positions in a human centipede situation. And honestly, the way they go into graphic detail about how they would want to function in this, it kind of makes sense that they were defending that Anna Valens clip. I mean, it really just kind of goes one in one. But also they got stuff like this, where they were reading that copy pasta about boy smell. Again, if we're not just talking about not safe for work fan fiction, you are saying these things are wrong because you believe there's children in these people's audiences. Would you read this in front of a child? No, you wouldn't. And you're holding other people to that standard, so guess what? It's going to be applied to you. And you definitely wouldn't be uploading something like this called period trackers are for gooners, and then you say stuff like this in the video.
You know, it never occurred to me that one day I'd be yapping about how a period tracker being added into a video game would suddenly be the spark of controversy because some people from the cesspool side of the internet who have never talked to a real woman in their lives suddenly think that periods are gooner material. Like, huh? What the hell do you mean by that? The only ones gooning about periods, you know, the thing where women bleed monthly, are probably vampires who want to eat that thing out. Now, on the other hand, if you're a female vampire with short blonde messy hair with a hot red fur boa on one shoulder and your name is Sancho, you're always welcome in my house, bestie. For the love of God, please, periods are not something uterus havers can control. It is not sexy to be in pain for a week every month. Getting words of reaffirmation may be, quote, parasocial to an extent, but it's not equivalent to gooning. As somebody who goons regularly to a fictional vampire waifu, please, don't get it twisted, bestie.
Now, one thing this VTuber really loves is the hidden reply function.
I think that gave me an aneurysm. My head kind of hurts.
They love hiding any sort of criticism on their tweets by hiding them. And they also love the block button. They haven't seen a person they didn't want to block. Now, you can see some of the hidden replies. They're just like legitimate criticisms or not even like anything bad. This person saying, you can't be playing that card when you yourself are doing the very thing that you are blaming someone else for. I don't know how that had to be said, but given the type of person you are, who you stand behind and what you stand for, not a surprise. So basically what they're saying is you're a hypocrite. You're applying these standards to other people that you don't use for yourself. And they hid that. And also you can see them literally arguing with people while hiding their replies. That makes no sense. Why are you hiding a reply if you're going to interact with it? It's very insecure and also hypocritical because this is someone who has criticized VTubers for not taking criticism well. I mean, the irony is unbelievable. And also on top of that, they're celebrating using the block button. This is very weird behavior. They're saying, honestly, going through a lot in real life, but blocking bigots is a distraction. Thanks, Kirsche. Your fan base is so wholesome and sweet, and everyone knows how positive you are in this space. So definitely not seething, definitely not coping. But if your IRL situation, if your like happiness is being improved by blocking people on Twitter, terminally online. That's terminally online behavior. But let's continue on, right? What do they mean by bigots? Well, it's anyone who thinks differently than them. Let's be honest. That's how it is on Twitter. That's how people like this function. And I saw this thread, which was pretty interesting because my name's in there, and they were basically saying they have an overlap with their content, or at least did at one point when they were doing drama videos with channels like mine. And then down here, they clarify this. I have no qualms if you're a right-winger who advocates for basic human rights and / or hates Trump. So I'm going to give you another little life lesson here. If someone gives you like qualifiers on how you could be their friend, like you have to qualify with certain things in order for it to be okay to have your political beliefs.
What they don't understand is that everything right wing is anti everything them. And they don't get that. Or it's just purely gaslighting. The only way I can accept you as right wing is if you're left wing.
That's insane. Get away from people
That's
like this.
fucking it.
And also their wording here is very bizarre. So they're saying and / or. So could someone not like Trump and then not advocate for basic human rights? And I guess they'd be cool with you. But also, this is such a lame phrase. This whole thing is so empty. They're saying, oh, I can be friends with right-wingers and all these people if they denounce Trump. For example, how many Americans are conservative that don't like Trump? It's pretty much the overwhelming majority wouldn't be able to fulfill this qualifier. So you're basically saying if you're a conservative, I don't want to associate with you in any sort of a way, and I have qualms with you.
The tolerant left.
Again, it's just they don't want to hear anything from anyone else, and that's fine, but don't act like some great, fortuitous person who's giving an open door to some people. You're not giving an open door to anyone. And also you can see that they were seething about the Banana Juju situation when she was being harassed and she was defended by Asmongold. They're obviously not very happy about that. And they say, enjoy the grifter audience, sis. Again, people say sis unironically in a passive-aggressive way. Typically the most insufferable people ever. And of course, eventually, they just admit you can't stop minors from lurking around the platforms you're on. This pretty much defeated the entire purpose of this crash out this person's been having for days. You put them in a corner and they admit that everything they're doing is in bad faith. That's pretty much what happened here. So
Nothing these people do surprises me anymore. Period.
This person creates this standard that, oh, there might be minors sneaking into your stream no matter what filters you have on, so therefore you need to act like they're there and not show anything inappropriate. And then this person in their own Twitch streams and their own YouTube videos shows things that would very clearly not be appropriate for children to be consuming, but they go after Kirsche because they just want a reason to go after her, and unfortunately they've been proven to be a massive hypocrite on so many levels. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Well, that was something. I'll put that in the chat. Not that anyone's even here. Well, that was interesting. Well, anyway, never mind on all of that. What? I gotta check this out then. All right, so what's going
Palm
on
Springs
here?